but because we'll clean
Okay.
it up. So, okay.
Okay.
So everyone, we have Jacqueline. I mean, Jacqueline. Hold on a minute.
You forget my name.
We have Miss Janice Douglas Leggett on tonight, and she's going to be speaking to us about her experiences as a teacher and some of the things that she sees that we don't see as parents or grandparents or just being guardians over students. So she has, over children. So she has abundance of information that we do need. And Janice, I know that you're the expert at this, and so
Well,
we're we're basically here to
I
listen.
wouldn't go that far.
Oh, I believe that you are because I hold dear to my heart the work that you do, and being a teacher it's not an easy job, no matter what people say. And a lot of times things are going on with our children and grandchildren that we don't even know. But you're going to tell us tonight, I believe, your experience as a professional, and we're going to sit and listen to what you have to say. But in the chat section, I'll at some point I'll stop and say, "Hey, Janice, this person asked this question," and so we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Well, I'm Janice Douglas Leggett, and I've been teaching for, let's see, almost 20 years now, 17 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I started out studying chemical engineering, which
Okay.
I absolutely hated.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't I? I got out of college once. When I started my family, and
Okay.
then I went back, and I was going to go back to that. And
Mm-hmm.
then I decided I wanted to take a different course of study, which is probably the way that God wanted me to go.
Yes.
So, one thing that I will say, and I will reiterate, teaching children is a ministry.
Okay.
You have to have a heart
Mm-hmm.
for children in order
Okay.
to be successful in that.
Okay.
Some people can have a wealth of knowledge and not be able to um, relay that information to the children
Okay.
simply because you have to have a relationship with them.
All
And
right.
I don't mean like a in-depth relationship. You have
Mm-hmm.
to let them know that you care about them. You
Okay.
have to let them know that you're a straight up person, because they watch, just like when they're with their parents, they watch you.
Yes.
They want to know, that what you're preaching, what you're practicing what you preach.
Okay.
So um, when I meet my children, the first thing I do is
Uh-huh.
I teach them the 8 types of intelligence,
Oh,
and I
okay.
let them know that they're the visual, the logical, math, reasoning, that's math, musical, bodily kinesthetic, which is dancing and sports, interpersonal, which is more like the counselors and whatever else, and uh, people who are in politics. Intrapersonal is more like psychiatrists, psychologists, people who get into the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Linguistic, language arts, poets, those kind of people, and naturalists, more like
Uh-huh.
scientists. So I tell them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody is not meant to be a shoemaker. Just think,
Okay.
if we had everybody making red bottoms, I try to relate to them. If we had everybody making red bottoms, everybody be well shod, and
Mm-hmm.
nobody would have a house to live in because we don't have any carpenters or whatever else.
Okay.
So I approached them in that way and let
Uh-huh.
them know that you may not be the best in writing, because most of the time I taught writing when I was teaching, but I could teach anything.
Yes.
And I said, you may not be the best writer, so I want you to be encouraged that we're not going to criticize you if you're not the best writer in here, but
Yes.
everyone can
Uh-huh.
improve
Yes.
in everything.
In
And
everything.
you may be the best mathematician,
Uh-huh.
or you may be the best dancer. Look at Michael Jordan; he makes a whole lot more money than I do.
Yes.
He's kinesthetic, and Michael
Yes.
Jackson.
Uh-huh.
So that's how I reach them first.
Okay.
They immediately
Mm-hmm.
warm up to me
Mm-hmm.
immediately, and this is what some teachers are missing.
Okay.
Um, you have to have a relation, make yourself approachable to these children,
Mm-hmm.
because They need that. You don't know what kind of household they're coming from or what they're experiencing, and
Mm-hmm.
particularly since this pandemic,
Yes.
because they are struggling. Um, some of them, especially the ones who are on virtual learning,
Okay.
they don't have their teachers there to when you don't know what they're going through. And I saw some pretty lurid things that went
Mm-hmm.
on camera with a
Oh.
child who was on virtual learning. You never know what children are going through.
Yes.
And then we have had Hurricane Harvey, and then we had the plant explosions. I got this from my friend I was talking to was uh, Jacqueline, and
Okay.
that kind of thing impacts our children.
Uh
And a lot of
huh.
people think, I'm the one who has to go to work.
Uh huh.
I'm the one who has to bring home the bread.
Uh
So
huh.
they need to go to school, and they shouldn't have any problems. This it's not that just not that simple.
Right.
It's not that simple.
Uh huh.
So um, the first thing, like I said, is to build a relationship with the babies
Okay.
and get them started like that. And people want to know, I mean, because I've been called a great teacher,
Mm-hmm.
she does good well in this. And I know my material
Yes.
and I know how to relay the information. But without what I just got through saying, you're
Yes.
not going to reach them.
Okay.
And that's much of the problem.
Oh, okay. Now,
And with that, yeah,
one of the
go ahead.
viewers, I want to interrupt 1 minute. One of the viewers asked this question. They want you to go back and kind of share on the 8 types of learning. You mentioned 8 types of learning.
8 types of intelligence. And
Intelligence.
I want to reiterate too that God blesses us all with
Okay.
at least one of them. Some
Okay.
people have one or more.
Mm-hmm.
Some people may have all of them. We don't know.
Okay.
But I know I don't have all of them. Do
Okay.
you?
No,
Alexa?
I don't.
I don't have all of
I
them.
don't.
But I have a lot of linguistic
Uh-huh.
talent, which is
Language.
learning languages and
Mm-hmm.
being able to manipulate the language that you grew up speaking. Like I could, and I have been able to master another language, which is Spanish.
Okay.
I tried German, and I felt I was language saturated, so I left that one alone because I was intermingling them.
That's
But
okay.
I'm good at linguistics, and I'm good at logical math,
See,
the math part, and
oh,
I have what's the one visual spatial. I'm artistic. Not
okay.
I might be autistic a little bit too, but artistic.
Okay.
But then there's the musical, bodily kinesthetic, the interpersonal and personal and naturalistic. I'll list them all for you.
Okay.
We'll get them a little chart, and you can look them up. You
Okay.
just look up the 8 intelligence types, and they'll show you little charts with them on there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I go over with my kids first day of class.
Okay.
First day of class.
First day.
So when they meet me,
Uh-huh.
I'm telling them you can do this. That is the deal.
Okay.
You can do this.
Yes.
And they never forget. They never forget.
That's good.
So that's why I would have 35 kids
Uh-huh.
in a writing class, and 32 of them would pass the test.
That's good.
And the other ones would be so close,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't even matter. They passed.
That's good.
So yeah, that's how I love to get across to them.
Mm-hmm.
So
Some of the kids, I know you were talking about the different disasters we've had with the storms.
Yes.
And how chaotic that had been. And then on top of that, when this virus came about, and their whole world, their entire world looked like it shifted from underneath them. And so I know that you fed a lot of these kids, and I want you to share that with us. But I also would like for you to talk about what you shared with me, the mental part, and the depression and the things that they went through mentally, because a lot of these kids or maybe suicidal, but we don't know because nobody really see that part like the teacher. So could you share that?
yes, I will. Well, I can't really count the students that I've counseled. They say teaching is just an occupation, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's like you become at school parent, on-site parent for these children many, many times.
Okay.
And in order to be able to do that successfully, you have to love those kids. And I don't care if somebody is the exact same chroma as I am. If they do something that's out of, and I love them, but if they do something to another one of my students, I'm gonna take care of that.
Okay.
And so they know that. Any student that I've taught will tell you, I'm not gonna
allow them.
I'm like God, equal opportunity. I'm not going to do what I won't do for another.
Right.
You know, and that's another thing. When they respect you. You respect is given where respect is deserved.
There you go.
And so if they see you mistreating somebody, that's when they don't respect you.
Okay.
And you have to understand that these are little adults.
Okay.
They have just as much intelligence capacity when they're babies as they have when they're adults. They just have more experiences and have been taught.
Yes.
So these people are smart and they're honest most of the time, unless they've been taught to lie. But I've had so many kids come up to me, little students who are confused or not sure about their sexuality and different things. They're being bullied.
Yes.
And I have to talk to them, and I also talk to the other children about it. And I come to them in a way that is palatable for them to understand, and they don't feel like they're being attacked.
Okay.
I let them know I love him as much as I love you. I love her as much as I love you.
Yes.
And if I know or see, if I find out you've been bullying this person, we're going to have problems. We're going to have to understand that everybody has a right to exist as they are.
All right.
You don't have to change for me. I don't have to change for you.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, because I want to hear.
And also, I have had some kids who were actually suicidal. And these are things that parents really don't know, because we spend more waking hours with those kids at school than they do.
Say that again.
And that's the reason why it's so important that the teacher understands how critical your role is.
Yes.
You are not just somebody who's hired to, and if you're coming for the money, you might as well go home anyway.
Okay.
But they don't pay us like they pay other professionals.
Yes.
Definitely not what we're worth.
Yes.
But I say they try, according to what they're allowed from the legislature and all that.
Yes.
But you have to be wanting to do your job. So when everybody has problems. When you come in that door, you got to check it at the door.
Yes.
Because that is not their problem. They deserve to learn.
Yes.
And I have children who come in. I had one little boy, I remember in 4th grade. He would come in mad every day and couldn't get him on task for anything because he would be late most of the time. And he would come in just with his little mouth poked out. And I said, "What is your problem? Why is every day you upset?"
Yes.
He said, my mama didn't feed me. So that's when I realized it broke my heart. And it's probably she didn't have it, you know?
Didn't have
you never know, so I started saving breakfast for him, and when he would come in, he would know to come over by my desk, and I had a little bag for him, and he would take his little bag, go to the restroom, and stand out there where he couldn't be seen and eat his little breakfast and come on back. And this was a smart child.
Yeah.
I got him to show what he could do. And I still know him. He graduated a couple of years ago. And this child is in college doing well.
That's good.
So, we can make or break a child. This is why I say it's a ministry.
Yeah.
Because God puts you in position to help his children.
Right.
And you have to know that.
Yes.
You can't miss an opportunity to bless these children.
Yes.
And I've had a child who told me they have been molested. Okay. And a lot of kids don't trust teachers enough to walk up and tell them stuff like that. Yeah. Oh, it hurt me so bad. In the first time. Yeah. But you know what? Now I'm an old pro at it. I can see it. I'm able to look at them sometimes and see what's going on. Where as parents don't have the time to. They may be working, which may be some of the opportunities are derived there for something to happen to their children and stuff. So it's just it's not as bad as working for CPS, sometimes, but it's a blessing. And then there's some things that hurt, that crush you to the core,
Yes.
about it. And then I had a little child coming to me a couple of years back. I for Christmas I brought them little stuff to eat. I'm always bringing snacks. They always know that I have. Say, you have some snacks in your desk.
Yeah.
They know I have snacks galore in my desk. But I brought them Christmas stuff, like potato chips, juices, and different stuff like that, so that they could eat and have fun on the last day before Christmas. And the little boy came up to me. He asked me, could he take the things home with him that I had left over, because they were going to be gone for 2 weeks, and he was going to have a hard time finding food.
Oh.
When I tell you, that blew me away. And I struggled. I said, well, honey, you can have it. I just bagged it all up and gave it to him. Yeah. And it just made me think, I have to do something. I'm going to have to. But what can I do? You can't save everybody. No, and I mean, the whole holiday season, I was thinking about this child.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, things that parents don't see about their kids.
Yeah.
And then you're scared, you're reluctant to say things sometimes, because you don't know if you'll be attacked for it.
Yeah.
Or if it'll be welcomed, or whatever.
Right.
So, and this is the sort of thing that whatever, and I've been able to relate to parents, like hidden talents that children have. Because I had some kids who nobody could get quiet except for me. Because I would tell them, once we finish what we have to do on our lesson plan, we'll have some free time, whatever else. And I always have my little snacks and stuff for them. Like I would buy big old boxes of those potato chips, so I could, give them all a little bitty bag or whatever sometimes. And so I spend a lot of my money. My husband always says she spends all her money at school.
That's okay then. Let me ask you a question.
But anyway,
you have a question right quick before we move on. One of the viewers said, my kid couldn't handle the constant separation from his peers during homeschooling. I could be wrong, but I really believe he needed to be coming to class with his peers. So he
absolutely. Absolutely. I have a third grade grandson. He's 8 years old, and I had him for a little while during the last school year and the beginning of this school year, and he was just not doing well, and then he would break down and cry because he felt like I was bullying him because he wasn't. I was making him do his work. That's what I was doing. But he would break down and cry and shake. And so I told my daughter, I said, he needs to go back to class. My mama, this may not be safe. I said, well, we just going to double mask him or something because he wants to be with his friends.
Yes.
And it's traumatic to them. For one thing, he's been through kindergarten, preschool first, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, to be away from his friends. That they need. There's something in children's psychology called play. That's how they develop their personalities, by playing with other kids and interacting with other kids.
I did not know that.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so we got to look that up and talk about it for another. That's a subject for another day. But they need to interact with other children. Okay. And that's why it's so important. And I always try to make a few minutes. If they don't get to go out for recess, I make a few minutes where they can just chat with each other.
Yeah.
Because just sitting there being quiet all day, nobody likes that, not even an adult. So, and it's part of how they learn to get along.
Okay.
With the world.
Yeah. That's awesome. Another viewer says, I think they can tell when you respect them, talking about you as individuals. That's why they tell you things.
Right. And they know they can trust you.
Okay. They
know you're going to do what you're supposed to do, not go around gossiping and whatever else. They know you're going to do what you're supposed to do. And when they learn who you are, that's when they'll tell you everything.
That's good. That is good. You was talking earlier about when some of them disclose their sexual confusion about their sexuality, and
Yes.
a lot of that is happening now. And what I'm hearing a lot of parents say, well, that's because they at that school and they teaching them that. And I mean, there's so many things that's said, but generally, you know, not only do you see it first because they're disclosing it to you, how do you handle something like that? Because that can introduce suicide and depression as well.
Oh yeah.
So can you just
Exactly.
share that with us?
Well, the first thing that I do is when I see the child being bullied, or I think that they're being bullied, or whatever else, you can tell because they start to withdraw.
Mm-hmm.
And if the teacher acts as if you don't notice it, they'll really withdraw.
Oh.
But what I do is I make eye contact with the child. I let them know I see your pain. I know what's going on, and then I'll ask them to stay and let's talk. So
Uh-huh.
I'll just like make sure the door is open. Make sure there's a clear view for anybody to see what's going on, and then let them know I know you're being bullied. Now tell me who it is or what's going on, and they'll
Yes.
tell me.
Okay.
And that's how I try to get it, because you know what they want is not you to approve and a lot of parents are saying this, about they're teaching them in that school. No, I don't teach that. I don't teach one way or the other. What I do, I don't teach approval of what one way or the other, but I teach acceptance. I teach that you have to accept
Uh-huh.
people as they are. You can't change. You don't want to be changed, do you? So
Right.
why do you want to try to change somebody else? And that's not your job anyway.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what you do is you accept your friend, and I
Mm-hmm.
make them call each other friends. You accept your friend as they are.
Yeah.
That's not your problem. And then some people say, I don't like gay people. Well, I said, well, okay, so don't date them.
Yeah.
If you don't like gay people, don't date them.
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Yeah.
um, so I'm not, you know, I'm not gay. I'm a heterosexual, but it's not my job to judge anybody.
Right. Right.
And I don't know anything about that type of thing. I
Right.
know my mother has taught me a few little things about little oddities that she's seen and everything. And I kind of believe
Uh-huh.
that God loves everybody. I know He loves
Yes.
everybody. And I know that things can come up a little bit different. And I'm not going to say I understand being gay. I
Right.
don't.
Right.
I'm not gay.
Yeah.
But I understand that you're supposed to love when Jesus left. And I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
bring religion into this because we're not supposed. He said for us to love one another.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do. That's me.
So
My
another view
Go ahead.
another viewer says, "What do you do about the bullies? Do you report it to the administrator, or do you try to deal with it yourself?"
Well, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
There has been a situation that I had to write a student up, and that was just one
Mm-hmm.
out of uh, multiple situations. And the way I handle it is I call the people onto the carpet, and when you talk to kids, you can't be embarrassing them. You can't embarrass them in front of other kids.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, because if you do, they're gonna do like an adult would do. They're
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Yes.
attack you. So what I do is I take them out and talk to them, or I ask them to come in for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like ask 2 or 3 of them come in for lunch, and I pull that person aside. You have to talk to children and let them know what's right or wrong. They're not only learning the alphabet and the how to write and how to read. They're learning how to live and how to adjust to life, because you never know what they see and
Yes.
what they hear. So
Mm-hmm.
what you tell them is what's acceptable behavior.
Okay.
And you could say you may feel this way. You may
Mm-hmm.
not even like me,
Mm-hmm.
but what you need to do is treat me with respect.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you have to treat that person with respect. And if you do it again, I let them know the consequences. The consequences then would be for me to go call the parent. Then the
Yes.
next time I will go to the administration.
Okay.
See, because
Uh-huh.
bullying is outlawed. It is not. It's not allowable. It's not
Yes.
acceptable behavior.
Yes.
So you just take the procedural steps to what do you call it? To redirect the child. You redirect the child.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then, can you talk to us a little bit, because a lot of parents are concerned of their children's state of mind, and I know you touched on it, but one of the big things that I heard in reaching out to people about this coming on tonight was they have a huge concern about depression amongst the
Yes,
children.
ma'am, and it's bigger now. Depression has in children, according to the statistics that I've read about, has grown at least 40 to 50%. And it's
Oh,
because of the separation anxiety that's going on because they're separated from their classes. Now, they'll be acting like, oh, I hate school. I hate school. That's all I heard. But I was during the time that the school was out last year, which was like March, April, May, and before school was let out. I
yeah.
saw so many kids who ran up to me. They didn't even want to be in school. I miss you so much. I said, no, you miss me? Because these were like the middle school kids that I taught Spanish to.
Uh-huh.
And I couldn't believe what they were saying.
Uh-huh.
And it's because they had never been put in that position before where you have to stay home.
Okay.
At first it's like it was a treat to stay home, but now you have to stay home. And then the worst part is your parents the parents not being able to help them with the homework.
Okay.
So they were feeling helpless.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you feel helpless and trapped, that brings on depression.
Okay.
And so the children, really fight to get back to school.
Uh-huh.
Some of them, no, not I'm saying all of them. Some people have parents who are able to teach them. I taught my son.
Uh-huh.
And they understand that they need to have an interaction, like a play date or something like that with somebody with a mask or whatever. You have to be able to. They have to be able to see other children. That's the main issue.
Yes.
And if that's happening where they're not able to, they're being confined into a situation where they can't talk to their teachers or talk to. That's causing the
anxiety.
depression, and depression and anxiety leads to people wanting to. You never know. Some people are on the edge from the beginning.
Okay.
And so, so parents, the ones who are keeping their kids at home, I suggest that you talk to your kids a lot, talk to them about how they're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and if there's any possible way you can get them back to school, get them back to school.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm not advocating anything or trying to tell people, this is just my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I have so many students who were fighting to get back to school. And now if they're there, they're better students.
That's good.
Or better behaved,
Uh-huh.
and more easily taught because they want to be amongst their classmates and their peers. They want to be around their friends.
Someone, one of the viewers said that makes a lot of sense. Everything you're saying about depression, and we as adults, kind of like, for example, I'm going to go back to a previous viewer that was saying about her son, how I think she didn't know, she didn't know how he was really feeling. What I'm getting from that earlier chat, and it said like he just couldn't handle that constant separation. So would you say that, for example, may have been signs of leading into depression as a student?
Oh yeah, absolutely. When they start feeling separation anxiety, even from parents, they start feeling trapped and feeling like I want to go here. I don't want to go see my friends and stuff. My little grandson wasn't even telling me that, and I could see it.
Okay.
He wasn't even telling me that.
Yes.
And so I told my daughter, I said, you have to get him back in school.
Uh-huh.
You have to.
Yeah.
I said, and so she did, and he's doing a whole lot better. Like he used to be a little tantrum thrower, in school, and I had to talk to him so many times about that. But now, his teachers are bragging on the way that he acts in school because he wanted to be there. He
Good.
wanted so much to be there.
Yeah.
So that in that situation, the curse of having the pandemic
Mm-hmm.
became a blessing in a way, you know.
Yeah. Um, the CDC is, they're talking about, along with our president, about kids returning to the classrooms, teachers being vaccinated. Um, what are your views about that? Because that's some people want to know your views about.
Well, I don't think we're out of the what do you call it, the darkness
Yeah.
yet with this situation,
Uh
this
huh.
COVID thing.
Uh
I
huh.
don't think that we're out of the danger now yet.
Okay.
But if we practice what they say
Mm-hmm.
to do
Yes.
and get the vaccination. At first, I was against the vaccination. I was like, I don't trust these people.
Uh huh. Uh
I
huh.
mean, no, everybody referred to the Tuskegee thing and
Uh
all
huh.
that. But now, I, I mean, I feel like the people that have taken it haven't died, keeled over yet. So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
I
took
think it
it.
might be the best thing for us to do. And I think the parents need to use their own uh, check their own feelings about
That
sending their kids
discretion.
back.
Uh
If
huh.
they think it's their own discretion about sending the kids back to school. If they don't, they don't feel like it's going to be safe, then in different areas things are different. Because
Mm-hmm.
just a few months ago, I mean, things were raging. So
Yeah.
it's just different. People take different precautionary measures and
Just
stuff. So if you feel it's not safe, don't send it back. But you know what? I think it's coming upon the time that we can go back to
okay.
opening fully and letting the kids come back to school.
Yeah. But
And
what time frame? Say like if you were in charge of this happening, what would you look at as a good time frame? Like.
since it's toward the end of the year, I would
Mm-hmm.
say go ahead and let this year expire.
Okay.
And when school starts again in August, everybody go back. But
Oh.
I would still have the precautionary measures unless everybody was vaccinated. I
Okay.
mean, I know I'm going to get mine, and my husband,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he's going to get his, and I think all teachers should get it. And
Good.
so that because some of the what do you call it, infection has happened from student to teacher, but some of it has happened between teachers to students too.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So I think all teachers should be required to get it, and
Okay.
next year start out brand new.
Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You
Yeah.
know, we've talked about the process. You and I have talked about, and you shared with me a process that I wasn't aware of. That you being the first, as a teacher, the first line of defense. Maybe when a situation is happening in a home and it's disclosed to you, can you kind of share that? With the
Yeah.
audience.
Yes. I was telling students not too long ago, a few days back, a student left out of the classroom without letting me know,
Mm-hmm.
and that was one of those times that I probably said something in front of the kids and shouldn't have. I
Okay.
should have talked to her privately, but I had to let her know. When you're in my possession, you're in my classroom.
Mm-hmm.
I am in charge.
Okay.
I am your protection. If somebody,
Your phone, I lost you for some reason.
yeah, um, can
Okay,
you
you're
see me
back.
now?
I see you now.
Yeah, I'm the one who's in charge. If your parent would come here and say, "Where's my child?" and you're not in here, and I'm sitting up here looking like, "Well, she was here a few minutes ago." I said, "What would you think? What
Uh-huh.
would they think about me?" They'd be
Mm-hmm.
scared to leave their children in my possession.
Mm-hmm.
So, you need to let me know if you
Uh-huh.
have a reason that you need to leave this classroom. And
Okay.
I said, I need to know every time, not just once, because
Uh-huh.
we're your first line of defense. When they say lockdown,
Uh-huh.
I'm responsible for those kids in that room.
Okay.
And I, you know what? I believe to the core of my soul that I would risk my life for my
Yes.
children,
Uh-huh.
because when I'm there, it's like they're my children.
Yes.
So, and it don't make it more difficult for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Even the security guards are not as responsible for you as I am,
Uh-huh.
because
Mm-hmm.
I'm the first line.
Okay.
I have to keep them from coming in here on you.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's and
So
that's a lot of parents don't understand that. Even I, is when I was a parent and now being a grandparent, I did not know that process went like that. And it's just, I believe so very often we don't respect people enough in their professions because we're not there doing it. But it's always more than what you see taking place. And this is why when somebody is bullied, I can see your protection for them in that.
that child. Oh
Because,
yeah, I'm going to protect that child.
uh huh, uh huh.
And because I've had one, I just feel like, oh, that really,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I stopped in my tracks right there because you have to do something immediately.
Okay.
It's your job to do something immediately when that child expresses that he does not want to live. You know, we
Okay.
don't know if it's just a wolf cry or crying wolf or whatever. We don't know, but we
Okay.
can't afford to take a chance.
Right.
And
Right.
so these things happen, and some kids share things that are going on at home, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, whatever, and whatever. And it's the teacher's job,
Uh huh.
and I don't know if people know this or not, but we work closely with child protective services.
Oh, I didn't know
Uh,
that.
if a child tells you something
Uh
that's
huh.
going on,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot call that parent. You have to report it to CPS,
Okay.
and if not, you can end up in jail.
Oh, I
I'm
didn't
then
know
paying
that.
fines.
I wasn't aware of
Sincerely.
that.
Oh
Huh.
yeah. I had a situation. I know of a situation where a child told a principal
Uh huh.
that something was going on at the house. There was molestation,
Okay.
and the principal called the parent, shared it with the parent.
Oh my goodness.
The the sheriff's department showed up down there and handcuffed that person and took him to jail. And
Oh.
that happened
Okay.
because you cannot do it. That
Y-
child has to have protection,
Yeah.
you know. And if you don't protect that child, you
Mm-hmm.
can go to jail.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, and even I have big concerns because sometimes we have college students, because we get them when they come out of high school. And many of them are homeless. And their gift to them straight out of high school was that they could no longer live at home with the rest
Oh
of the
no.
family. In situations like that, I mean, do you all in the school system, are you aware of that before, say, like we see them as college students? Like a lot of these kids are trying to live together, they trying to get a place together, and you already know that,
Yeah.
that's gonna be a hard life because a lot of the girls end up pregnant, they end up in relationships that's unhealthy, and I know that beyond the K through 12 years, that there has to be some other concerns. What advice could you give us as the audience on how to deal with something like that? That somebody in the audience
That's a
may know
tough one.
somebody. It's a tough one.
That's a tough one. And although I've had situations where I knew a student when I was in high school who didn't his mother was on drugs, and they didn't have water. They didn't he and his sister and brother didn't have water. They didn't have electricity. He had to hurry home and do his homework before dark and
Mm.
everything. And had I been the person that I am now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have asked my parents, could he come? Because he was a good friend of mine too, as a matter of fact,
Uh-huh.
come and stay with us,
Uh-huh.
because these kids need to be helped. And that's what, I don't know if he told anybody, must not have told anybody, because CPS was around back then too.
Yes.
They should have been in at least
Uh-huh.
foster home or something. But
Yes.
then after they turn 18, there's not much
You can
the
do.
state can do.
Okay.
But I hadn't really thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I know one thing. Uh, we should, like that. I'm thinking about a whole lot of things. I've been brainstorming a lot about for children who are hungry and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. School children that I know about,
Uh-huh.
and that's a good topic of discussion to have with governmental leaders and whatever, because that they're not quite children, but they are still our children. Because
Yes.
I know my daughter was my baby till she got to be about 23 or 24, where she wouldn't have it anymore. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
so but
Yeah.
they're still children, and they need help and they need guidance.
Yes.
And this could be a something that a good topic of discussion. Don't
Yes.
know, hopefully, like you said, they get together and try to live with other people, but
Yeah.
there needs to be something for them to, and I'm so excited about the fact that you brought that up. So something that people ignore a lot of times. That's the problem.
Yes.
And then what happens when that child actually commits suicide?
Yeah.
Then,
That's.
you know, so we don't know what's going on, but you can tell, you can kind of tell. You have, especially if you have children.
Uh
I
huh.
just don't want to live. They
Yeah.
might be just you take that. In any case, you take the child aside and talk to them.
Yeah.
You don't ignore them.
Yeah.
You take them aside, you talk to them, and you figure out if this person is trying to get attention,
Uh huh.
or is he really seriously upset. And you can tell as ongoing. Like I say, every day we see these children.
Yeah.
You can tell if that child, by your own intuition,
Uh huh.
is playing or not.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
they come there every day depressed, something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
And
Mm-hmm.
something is wrong. And it may not be that they want to commit suicide, but they want some attention, and attention needs to be given.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't I don't have any more questions, but this is such a wonderful interview. I have to have you to come
Oh, thank
back
you.
and just
Okay, I'll be glad to.
a lot of interaction doing this interview, and that is why I am glad that I paid attention to what God was telling me to do when He placed this on my heart's mind to give the
Yes,
people
ma'am.
a platform. Give them a platform, everyday people, where they can share their stories. Because what you and others who have came on this podcast have done for across this world, because this here, we on the World Wide Web. You don't know how many lives you are touching, because people are looking for answers. People are looking
Amen.
to hear things from everyday people, not just because you at a certain status quo, and even that don't matter. Everybody got a story, but it's like when you have more access, you got more people trying to access you. My idea, my philosophy in this is to continue to build on having people come on, tell their stories, sharing with the world, and putting it out there. I am you. I am that person
Amen.
who deal with depression. I am that person that have that everyday job as a professional. I may be that woman or that man that go and clean the hospital rooms so that you can lay in there in a comfortable bed and be taken care of. But
Amen.
I still am important. And on this platform here, that's what it provides. It's designed to provide that platform that say you matter. Tell your story,
Amen.
because I am you. I am you. You are me. And anytime that we open up our mouths, it's always somebody out there that have either they've been through it, they in it, or they're on their way out of it. And what you are doing, and I don't say this just to say it, what you are doing is saying to the world, open up your eyes. I may be a school teacher, but I'm a part of the functioning of society.
Amen.
That group of people that you might not see as being important, but God see you as being important because you're doing a wonderful thing, and you have helped so many people.
Thank you so much.
That's viewing his on tonight. We probably could go on and on, but we got to get off.
All right.
Because
well, I enjoyed myself. I love to talk about that subject. That's a subject I'm passionate about, and it's close to my heart.
Yes.
Children, because those are our future. Children are our future.
Yes.
We have to make sure they're whole.
Yes.
And ready for what they have to undertake.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Well, I truly thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us, and we're gonna have you back. We're gonna have you back.
All right, I'm gonna keep you. I'm gonna hold you to that.
Oh yes, oh yes. You know why? Because I can say that everybody that has come on this podcast will tell me they truly enjoy it and they felt welcome, and that is
I know
what
I did.
I want to do, and I thank you. And my technical director, see how it's behind the scenes. She makes sure to help make this happen. So I'm gonna say thank you on behalf of her too.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline.
Okay, you have a good night.
Bye, lecturer.
Bye bye.